What's going on, Dave?
JP, do we know how Cakes did in the Cakes Classic?
Don't know how he did last night. You know what?
Still
I have to
waiting
check
to
his
hear from
Twitter. He usually does do Twitter updates.
Yeah. Still waiting to hear from him, Dave.
Is it? Yeah, well, hopefully he did so well that he took it down and then immediately went to bed.
Right. You know what? He doesn't have any update tweets. He just has
maybe that's not
starts
good.
at 7:15. So I'm guessing he didn't catch.
Yeah, I do feel like if he had shipped it, he probably would be bragging about it on Twitter.
Yeah, we would know.
I was texting him earlier and he said he got bounced really early.
Oh, okay.
That's right. Wasn't even worthy of a post.
There you go.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because usually when he's kind of like on the bubble, he'll tweet out kind of an update, and then the next morning he'll show up. Like he's not doing the show, so usually he'll show up and we'll say, "How'd you do last night?" And we'll be like, "I just missed it." Or he's actually cashed quite a few times. You'd be surprised.
Oh, I know it, and he was in the WSOP. He did great there too. I played with him before. So
no, he knows what he's doing.
Big time card player. He's great.
Yeah. Dave, who was the fantasy MVP last week?
The fantasy MVP last week. I mean, you could make the case for any of the studs like Devon Achane and people that just put up absolutely huge numbers.
Seattle defense.
Fantasy managers, they're always looking for like the next big thing. And I don't know if you're angling for me to say Terry McLaurin or not, but he could have been that guy. He just wasn't starting enough leagues. I think people were excited to go to the waiver wire and pick up Adonai Mitchell from the Jets, coming off of a huge game. And I don't know how fluky it is because he had 7 targets the week before, just really wasn't on the same page with Tyrod Taylor. And you watched it. This is 2 games ago, and you think to yourself, all right, they're slowly building rapport. They'll be okay eventually. You didn't think it would happen the very next week. And now here he is, a matchup against Miami. Their run defense has gotten better. Their pass defense is not. And Adonai Mitchell could end up being somebody that you literally picked up off the waiver wire and you put into your fantasy lineup in week 14, fantasy playoff time almost.
Yeah, playoffs start next week. And so I'm in 5 leagues. I've clinched in 2. I've got a shot in the 3rd. But I got to score some points. But anyway, in one of these leagues, and it doesn't really matter because, like I said, I've already clinched. But do you think Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to play tonight?
I don't.
Okay.
He hasn't practiced all week. It sounds like it's a pretty significant injury. I'm sure the Lions would love to have him.
Yeah.
But even if he does play, are we sure it's going to be the same Amon-Ra St. Brown? Is he going to be? He's obviously going to be less than 100%. It's kind of going to be, it might be a trap if you end up starting him in fantasy because he might not see very many targets. He might not be very good. I'm hoping that that's not the case. I'm hoping he makes a miraculous recovery, gets a shot at Toradol, whatever it takes for him to get out on the field and catch 9 passes for 140 yards and a touchdown. This is a great matchup for him. But the Lions just might say, you know what, you didn't practice all week. You're just not there yet. Let's save you for another week. And then that means a lot more of Jameson Williams. And they've got 2 interesting wide receivers, Isaac Tesla and Tom Kennedy. 2 very different names, but from what we saw last week, Tesla kind of was the clear-out guy, and they use him occasionally on deep shots. And then Tom Kennedy literally replaced Amon-Ra St. Brown in the slot and ran the same kind of routes that St. Brown ran. So there's appeal for both of those guys. Tesla has 6 catches this year. Half of them have gone for touchdowns, so I like him a little bit better. He's got a little bit more upside. He's got plenty of downside. Kennedy kind of safer if you're looking for 8 to 10 PPR points.
Well, if Amon doesn't go, I've got Jordan Addison and I've got Christian Watson. So would you play one of those 2 guys?
I would put Watson at the top of the list. I love the matchup for him against Chicago. I know the Bears, they looked awesome against Philadelphia on Black Friday, but really it was their offense that looked awesome. And then Philadelphia made a bunch of mistakes on offense. They had to punt a lot. They just haven't been right, or certainly not consistent for the better part of the year. Jordan Love, whenever he's not pressured, is amazing. And we saw that on Thanksgiving because the Lions couldn't get to him. That's a great reason to like Dak Prescott tonight, by the way. But as long as Jordan Love's got time to throw, and he should have that against Chicago, he will target downfield, and Watson will be his guy. Watson's the top 24 receiver for me this week.
All right, so this league is the big one. I got to score some points. The top 4 seeds are based on record. That's 5th and 6th seeds are based on points scored. And right now, I'm in the 6th spot based on point. I need to score some points this week. I've got Drake London. He's you can tell me, you know more than I do, if he's going to go or not. I've also got Hampton, Amarian Hampton. Is he going to go? And if Drake London does not play, I'm kind of in a mess. I got to pick somebody up. But talk to me about Drake London and Hampton. Do you think those 2 are going to go?
I'm nervous about London, even if he does go, because we know that Seattle defense is really good and they travel well as well. So I think that it's going to be a very difficult spot for him to put up huge numbers, especially with Cousins under center. Cousins just hasn't been great this year. So you should lower expectations for Drake London. Still probably would start for you, but probably be more of like a top 15 to 20 wide receiver rather than a top 10 guy, which is where he's been. He does have 2 weeks this year where he's been better than literally every receiver in the NFL. And if he continues to practice this week, I guess you could probably count on him starting, even if Hampton plays. Again, Philadelphia's run defense, they got beat up last week, but this is a different type of offensive line in LA. The Chargers just aren't great there. So I'm thinking that the Eagles have a bounce back week against the run. And I also think that Hampton will not get the type of workload that he had before he got hurt. He'll split with Kamani Vidal, and that makes him pretty tough to trust in fantasy. So I'd be okay with London. I wouldn't be okay with Hampton.
Okay.
And then if you've got to go to your waiver wire, look for Greg Dortch, look for Jaden Higgins. We talked about Adonai Mitchell.
I got
if
Mitchell,
he's there. Devon Vele might be the last best wide receiver that's out there. His film from last week was outstanding, and he's kind of taking over as the middle of the field target, as in-breaking route guy for New Orleans, and they're going to end up having to throw a lot against Tampa, and that is where you attack Tampa, is the middle of the field. So Vele is a very interesting play. Those would be the types of receivers I would look for if London's out.
What are you hearing on Dalton Kincaid?
He's practicing this week, and that's a really good sign. Usually in the past couple of weeks, he might get in one limited practice and then he's out, but the injury that he suffered apparently was a much bigger deal than the Bills let on. Big shocker. That happens all the time in the National Football League. If he's healthy and if he's active, he's got the best matchup in fantasy football. Tight ends have absolutely crushed against Cincinnati. They play a lot of zone coverage. He's their best zone beater, and he should be in line for a really big day. I'm looking at my tight end rankings right now. I would start McBride over him. I would start Bowers. And now I'm looking at like Travis Kelce. And I'm not sure if I would start Travis Kelce over Dalton Kincaid. That's how excited I am for this matchup for Dalton Kincaid. Call him a top 5 tight end if he is active for Buffalo.
All right, let's bang out these calls. Let's go to Will in Tyson's. Will, you're on with Dave Richard.
What's up, guys? I got a question. Either Lamar or Stafford.
This is a no-brainer. It's Stafford. Though I know last week was kind of gross and Carolina kind of put it to him, but I don't think the Cardinals can do that. They're missing some of their best players this week. Stafford's a top 3 quarterback. And Lamar, I mean, holy moly, he just hasn't looked right since he's come back from injury. Kind of got cheesed out of a couple of touchdowns last week. You know, there was the play where Likely was down at the goal right before the goal line, and then a touchdown was called back by an OPI. If he gets both of those touchdowns, we probably feel a lot better about starting him. But the Steelers have had his number for quite a long time. Last year was the first time that Lamar actually put up some good fantasy numbers against the Steelers. Pittsburgh's desperate. I think they're going to play a lot of man coverage and blitz the snot out of Lamar Jackson. And I don't think that's a good recipe for him to be a good fantasy quarterback. I've got at least 12 quarterbacks ahead of him in my rankings this week.
All right, let's go to Pastor Jacques Bristow. Hey, Jacques, how are you, buddy?
Hey, guys. Hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving. Everybody,
Thanks.
It's a happy December, man. It's Christmas. It's crazy.
Yep, it's awesome.
We're already here.
What do you got
Hey,
for
Dave, quick question for you. Half-point PPR. Chris Godwin, I know he's starting to get more snaps, and he had a decently productive week last week. Or I could go with Kyle Monangai, who had a great week, and but like I looked the last few weeks, and Green Bay's tough, and it's been touchdowns mostly more than touches. But I just need reassurance. I'm leading that direction with Monangai, but can you give me a little bit of counsel as far as that goes?
It's very close. In my full PPR rankings, Monangai is ahead of Godwin by 2 spots. And I think that in half PPR, it just leans even more toward Monangai. I am so impressed with how the Bears offensive line has played over the last month or so. And they're rotating Swift and Monangai. The only time you won't see Monangai as a part of the offense is when the Bears are trailing. And so that in this game, I think it could be a close game between the Bears and the Packers. I really do. But maybe in the fourth quarter, if the Bears are down 7, you might not see a lot of Monangai unless it's short yardage situations. Then you will see him. Overall, I think that Monangai has looked good, and this Bears offensive line looks good. We know that the Packers might be missing a couple of starters up front. I would lean on Monangai one more week.
All right, there you go, Jacques. Thanks, buddy. Let's go to Jake in Fredericksburg. You're on with Dave Richard.
Hey, good morning, guys. Happy holidays.
Thanks.
Dave,
What's up,
I've
man?
got kind of like two questions in one. I need to start a tight end, either Brenton Strange or Dallas Goddard. And the reason I ask that is I really got to cut one to pick up a quarterback because Drake May's on bye. And I'm staring at either Mariota or Taylor, Tyrod Taylor. Or at this point, do I even cut Ricky Pearsall to pick up one of those guys?
I would pick Goddard before I would cut Pearsall, but they're both droppable. I don't know how anybody can trust Dallas Goddard, given the production that he's given, the fact that Philadelphia's offense has just been struggling for so long. Over the past 2 weeks, it looks like the only guy that's been consistent is A.J. Brown, and it's really tough to buy into Goddard when they haven't even tried to use him to try and break out of this funk that they've been in offensively. You tack on the offensive line issue, no Lane Johnson, maybe Goddard's blocking a little bit more. That's something I should actually look into. Maybe I'll do that when I'm done talking to you guys. I would cut Goddard first, and I would get Mariota against the Vikings. It's a tough matchup. Minnesota's going to blitz him a lot, but he's got McLaurin, he's got Debo. I think that Mariota showed last week that he can still play in this league, and as a bye week replacement, I would trust him at a Tyrod Taylor.
Oh, so you think that Mariota is going to play and not Jaden?
Well, right. It's obviously contingent on Jaden Daniels, and the fact that Jaden got into practice already this week is a positive sign. If you're worried about that, then you could pick up Tyrod now, and then come Saturday, if we know that Jaden's not going to play, you can pivot to Mariota.
I think I'm telling you, I think he's going to play.
Yeah.
I'm just getting the vibe.
Okay, that's interesting to know. I didn't know one way or the other, and if Jaden Daniels plays, I kind of like him against Minnesota too. How could I not?
I mean, he's just they had video. He's ripping throws. He's not wearing a brace. Coach is being weird about functional, being able to stiff arm guys. Well, they'll figure that out in about 5 seconds, and then they're going to clear him. The mom told everybody he's going to play. Mom said last week he's going to play next week. So
all right, I like all this. I hadn't heard all this. But
yeah.
See, this is why I love coming on the show with you guys, because you guys know everything.
Well, we don't know everything, but we'll speculate on anything.
Yes.
That's for sure. All right.
Informed speculation, Dave.
Yeah. Let's go to Rick.
That's been my career.
Yeah, right. Rick, what's up, buddy? You're on with Dave Richard.
Ricky?
All right, he's not paying attention. Let's go to Eddie. DC. Eddie, what's up?
Morning, guys. Hope all is well. Need
Thanks,
a
man.
PPR and a flex. I got Tesla, Darnell Mooney, or Kareem Hunt.
Gross.
Yeah.
I think I would go with Tesla, especially if catches count, just because of the opportunity that he should have. He probably has the most upside of the three. Hunt would actually be second, and that's just me telling you how bad Darnell Mooney is and how he's made one good play all year, and it was the touchdown he had 2 weeks ago. And against Seattle, I'd be surprised if he does something like that again.
All right, we're going to try the speed round without cakes. We're going to try.
Yeah, let's just do it real quick.
Do you remember the rule? They know the rules.
They know the rules.
No small talk.
No stupid questions.
No stupid
Don't
questions.
disagree with him. Yeah, all that stuff.
All right.
One question.
They know the deal. Let's go to Kyle. Speed round, go.
Half-point PPR, need one, Addison, Debo, or Quentin Johnson.
Debo.
Ooh, likes Debo.
All right, let's go to Woody.
Well, compared to those other two, I like Debo.
Yeah. I got you.
Woody, speed round, go.
PPR, choose one running back. Javonte Williams, Zach Charbonnet.
Javonte.
That's kind of a no-brainer, right?
Let's go to Austin.
Yep.
Speed round, go.
Jerry Jeudy or Roma Dunes?
Odunze.
Hey, are the Commanders worth picking up as a defense this week, Dave?
I would rather have the Dolphins defense. And I get it. You want to start anybody against J.J. McCarthy. But one of my strongest rules in fantasy football is do not start a bad defense. And I give Dan Quinn a lot of credit for changing the play calling and taking over the play calling and changing it up with them. But they just don't have the talent. And I can't trust them even against Minnesota.
Gotcha.
All right.
Let's go to Vinny. Speed round, go.
Goff against Dallas secondary, Tua against Jet secondary.
I didn't catch the first name, but
Goff.
I'm not a big fan of Tua.
He said Goff, I believe.
Goff or Tua?
Oh my God,
Goff against Dallas.
Ridiculous question.
Okay, stupid question.
He says dumb question.
Stupid question. You're done.
Goff should light it up.
Goff should light it up, yes.
At home.
Even without Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam Laporta and Khalif Raymond and Calvin Johnson and all the other Lions that are out this week.
All
Dave,
right.
you always ask us how our teams are faring before the playoffs. How
Yes.
many of your teams, like percentage of your teams, will make the playoffs?
What's 8 divided by 12? Is that
Isn't
3
that
over 4?
3/4?
No, that's 6 over. I don't know what it is, but it looks like I'm going to make the playoffs in 8 of 12 weeks.
2/3.
Oh, nice.
It's pretty good.
Sure, whatever it is. I don't have a calculator in front of me. You'd think I would know.
That's
what that is.
impressive.
I went to high school, so
We did
ridiculous
too,
that I
but
don't
none
even
of
know
us
it.
can figure it
I
out.
couldn't figure that one out. All right,
2/3, I believe.
good luck, and we'll talk to you next week for playoffs.
You know, I can tell you the A dot of Peyton Manning in 2009, but I can't tell you what 8 over 12 is. So
Good
what do I
stuff.
know?
Yeah.
66%.
All right. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it, buddy.
That's
You
Dave
got it.
Richard.
Good luck in your leagues this week, especially you, Bish.
All right.
Yes,
pal.
man.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
buddy.
Dave, brought to you by our friends at Metropolitan Moving and Storage. They're the best. Call my guy Justin or go online at dcmetropolitanmoving.com. They can do your local, your long distance moves. We love Metropolitan Moving and Storage.